All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little San Francisco Giant video. We don't do tons of Giant videos, but they made news today. Some exciting news, and we'll talk about that coming up next. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Also, thanks to Sharp Corners, Sports Cards, and Collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, along the Monterey Peninsula. Thanks to my friend Anthony Catania. He's at 831-521-5264. All right. I vowed to not talk Giants baseball because they bore the hell out of me until they do something that's kind of exciting. And today they did something that was kind of exciting. They signed the top international. Today was the beginning of the international market for the year for baseball. So the top international players can sign as of the 15th of January. And the Giants signed a shortstop who's considered to be the best, most complete position player in this international draft class out of the Dominican Republic for anywhere between $2.5 million and $3 million. I've seen multiple reports. A couple said 2.5 million, some say 3 million. But the shortstop's name is Josuar de Jesus Gonzalez. And I may be butchering that name. Josuar de Jesus Gonzalez. And he's considered the most complete position player in the international draft class. He was long rumored to be coming to the Giants. So this isn't necessarily a surprise. But a lot of times, these top international players will reverse course in the 11th hour. So even though it's been rumored for months and months and months, really over a calendar year, that the Giants were going to sign Josuar de Jesus Gonzalez as their future shortstop, it's been long rumored, but you just never know if it's going to be a reality until it actually becomes a reality. So he is the top international prospect available this year other than Roki Sasaki, according to Fangraphs and MLB Pipeline. And those two publications rank players every year as far as where they sit internationally. And Roki Sasaki was number one, but Josuar de Jesus Gonzalez was the second best international prospect according to Fangraphs and MLB Pipeline. So let's talk a little bit about the future Giant shortstop. It's interesting to me that the Giants have signed up their shortstop of the present and the future all in the same offseason. They signed Willy Adames to a 7-year, $182 million contract, the biggest contract ever given out by the Giants. And he is going to be their shortstop for at least the next 5 years, maybe the next 7 years. And then there's a very good chance that Josuar de Jesus Gonzalez will be his replacement at shortstop. There's always a chance that de Jesus Gonzalez will move to center field. He's a great athlete. There's no question. So let's talk a little bit about Josuar de Jesus Gonzalez. He turned 17 in October. The comp that, the interesting thing to me also is that the Giants and the Dodgers entered this year with the smallest bonus pool of any team in Major League Baseball. And yet the Giants still land the top Dominican player in Josuar de Jesus Gonzalez, despite having the smallest bonus pool for 2025. So obviously they did their work on this player. He just turned 17 in October, and he's been comped to Francisco Lindor. And right there is that. If you're a Giants fan, why am I even doing this video? Because the Giants just signed a 17-year-old shortstop that's been comped to Francisco Lindor. And Lindor is a great player. So, if this kid winds up being Francisco Lindor, Giants fans are going to be thrilled. Now, I did watch video of him. He's a switch hitter with power in the bat, strength in his hands, the ability to drive the ball to his pull field, whether from either side of the plate. And I watched him take some ground balls. I mean, the guy has got real fluid motions, great arm strength. You can see there's a lot to like here. So he's been comped to Francisco Lindor. He's very agile. He's a great athlete. He's very twitchy. You can tell, just looking at him, you can see why the Giants were so intrigued and why this guy is so highly rated, because he's just such a twitchy athlete. They're saying that he's going to stay at shortstop, but he also has enough twitch and athleticism where he might be a future center fielder if, for whatever reason, his actions or if his results at shortstop were not great. He's a switch hitter with power from both sides of the dish. He's got real good power to his pull fields. So from the left side, he can pull the ball down the right field line. From the right side, he can pull the ball with authority down the left field line. Switch hitter with power from both sides of the plate. Excellent speed. The scouts, if you're a good runner, they list you as a plus runner. Well, the scouts call Josuar de Jesus Gonzalez a plus runner. So the 2 pluses are better than the 1. So he's got excellent speed. He's got a lean, athletic build that looks ready-made to play shortstop in the big leagues for 10, 15 years. I mean, he looks like a major league shortstop. Very agile, very powerful, very athletic, quick feet, really good range at shortstop, great arm strength, an above average arm strength. I mean, I'm not saying he's Shawan Dunston or anything like that. I don't think he's the greatest arm I've ever seen, but definitely above average arm strength, good actions at shortstop, quick feet, good range, fast hands as a hitter. He's got great quickness in his hands, great bat speed, generates tremendous bat speed from both sides of the plate. Immediately, day one, Josuar de Jesus Gonzalez will slot in among the Giants' top 10 prospects at probably number 2 or number 3. So Bryce Eldridge is their number 1 prospect, but they also have Rainier Arias and some other younger players that they really like. But there's a chance that Josuar de Jesus Gonzalez, day 1, could be the Giants' second best prospect to Bryce Eldridge. So that's exciting. Basically it's exciting that the most difficult spot on the diamond for any team to fill is shortstop. And the Giants this offseason, with Buster at the helm, have filled shortstop at the major league level in 2025 with Willy Adames. And going forward, 7-year, $182 million deal for Adames. And then long-term, it looks like they've solidified their shortstop with Josuar de Jesus Gonzalez. So what's going to be interesting to see is, where do the Giants start Josuar de Jesus Gonzalez? A lot of people believe that he will start off in the Dominican Summer League, and then he'll come to the United States in 2026. But you know what? You've seen teams not rush, but aggressively promote some of the top international players. And it's possible that he skips the Dominican Summer League this summer, and the Giants start him off in the Arizona in the instructional leagues. And that would be an indication that he's closer to the big leagues than maybe they originally thought. So I think, the interesting thing is, this guy's either a shortstop or a center fielder long term. The comp is Francisco Lindor. I mean, if this kid is Francisco Lindor, then the Giants have a fantastic shortstop for years to come. After Willy Adames hangs it up or moves off of shortstop to another position. But there's a couple things to look for. Can he stay at shortstop? Does he have to move to center field? Do they start him in the Dominican Summer League and bring him to the U.S. in 2026? Or do they start him off in the Arizona Instructional Leagues, which would be a little bit more aggressive play, and he would start in the U.S. in 2025? Those are the things I think to really look at. How does he progress as a switch hitter? I think that's going to be interesting. Does he have a stronger side, one side over the other? And can he emerge as a Francisco Lindor, as an all-star caliber middle infielder? This was a great move by the Giants. Why? Because what the Giants need to do, if they're ever going to run with the Dodgers, is they have to start competing for the best players in the world wherever they are. So you have in baseball, you can improve yourself in the trade market, the free agent market, the amateur draft, and the international draft. 4 areas that you can improve your team. The Giants have to go after the top international players. Why? Because the international market is probably surpassed the domestic market as baseball's most profitable and most exciting as far as prospect talent. The best talents in the world are oftentimes coming from outside this country. They're coming from the DR. They're coming from Cuba. They're coming from the Far East. A lot of the best players in the world are no longer, coming out of U.S. high schools and colleges. A lot of them are in this international market. So the Giants have to compete with the Dodgers. And to compete with the Dodgers, you're going to have to compete with the Dodgers for the best international players, the best free agents, the best players in the amateur draft. You're going to have to be competitive. There's only 4 pools of which to get players: trades, free agents, the draft, international signings. Those are your 4 areas. If you're not competing with LA at the top of the scale in all 4 of those areas, you have no chance of ever commandeering the NL West again. And if you can't win the NL West, your chances of winning a World Series are really, really dramatically lower than Giants fans expect and deserve. So you got to compete for the best players in the world, in free agency, in international free agency, in trades, and in the amateur draft. So for the Giants to get the top international player outside of Roki Sasaki is a huge step in the right direction. And there's a lot of talk that the Giants are going to be in the running next year for the top international player in next year's international market. So I think they're starting to understand the importance of being competitive at the highest levels for the greatest talents in the world. The Dodgers are doing it, and that's why they're having success. The Yankees have done it for years. The Padres are now doing it, competing for the top international players. Once upon a time, the Giants were thought of as like one of the premier teams to play for international players. That's how they got Orlando Cepeda, Felipe Alou, Jesus Alou, Matty Alou, Juan Marichal. That they were the team that had this Dominican pipeline and international pipeline that was as good as anybody. And it's been dormant for a long time. But if the Giants are going to ever be on top, truly on top, there's no way they can ever be on top without being a big player consistently in the international free agent market. And today, with the signing of Josuar de Jesus Gonzalez, that's a huge step in the right direction. All right, good signing by the Giants. You're not going to see him at Oracle Park anytime soon, but man, the future at shortstop looks bright for San Francisco. Thanks to Pig in a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles for sponsoring this video. Thanks to all of you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.